This is the ZenFone 3. This is the ZenFone 3 Max. Now welcome the ZenFone 3 Zoom. Uncanny to the similarity of the two previous models, the ZenFone 3 Zoom inherits the body of the ZenFone 3 Max but with a dual camera setup. I'm Izon here of Hungry Geeks, and this is our first look of the ZenFone 3 Zoom, ASUS' first dual camera smartphone. The ZenFone 3 Zoom takes a huge jump from its predecessor, the first generation ZenFone Zoom. Gone with a bulky and complicated 10-light bouncing glass setup, as ASUS opted to use a dual camera setup which is composed of a 16-megapixel wide-angle lens and a 12-megapixel telephoto lens. It's also paired with ASUS Pixel Master technology with laser autofocus, color correction sensor, and dual LED flash. On the front, we have a more selfie-appropriate 13-megapixel camera. A special zoom toggle is located besides the shutter button for the zoom function. Optical zoom is best at 2.0x, while you can still digitally zoom up to 12x. Trying out the camera shows intuitive controls. Technically, the speed and response is similar to the ZenFone 3, which is above average in our experience. Video is up to 4K at 30 frames per second. 1080p can shoot up to 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. Upon testing the camera, photos result to accurate colors and good brightness, though photos are a bit soft and shutter speed isn't fast as expected. Night photography showed good details and bright lighting, but again, somehow the slow shutter speed fades out details even just people walking around. But the unit we tested isn't final, so you can still improve over the final product or the mass production unit once it's available in the market. The ZenFone 3 Zoom is also a 5.5-inch smartphone with a Full HD AMOLED screen similar to the ZenFone 3 Deluxe. Visuals are bright and vivid, making it a pleasant screen to behold. Powering the device is a dated Snapdragon 625 1.3 GHz processor, 4GB of RAM, and 64GB of storage, pretty much standard for a ZenFone today. But we are still baffled why ASUS opted to a less powerful processor as compared to the current ZenFone 3's Snapdragon 652 processor. ASUS could have simply used the same processor for a more powerful and same performance all throughout the ZenFone 3 lineup. At a small form factor, ASUS was able to snug in a 5000 mAh battery as compared to the ZenFone 3 Max 4100 mAh. The Zen UI 3.0 remains the same with a lot of bloatwares and multiple apps pre-installed for customization. Hopefully, ASUS realizes that their UI has become too cluttered, colorfully segmented, and rather confusing than being intuitive. Aside from the dual camera setup, you won't see ASUS star feature of 2016, the invisible antenna design here. Instead, you will see two antenna lines similar to the ZenFone 3 Max or even to the iPhone 6. Admit it, even if you see it besides with the iPhone 7, they look alike at first glance. Lastly, we will get this question out of the way. Nope, the ZenFone 3 Zoom isn't a flagship device but more of a mid-range hero for ASUS to fight a certain segment. This segment is where the dual camera setups flourished like the Huawei P9, LG G5, and possibly recently announced dual cameras in the smartphone arena, and of course even the iPhone 7 Plus. If you have any questions in mind about the ZenFone 3 Zoom, let us know in the comment section. Stay tuned for our full review once we have a review unit to try out. This is Izon of Hungry Geeks. See you next episode.